A couple of years ago, I found out that I was stereoblind, meaning I couldn't perceive the world in three dimension and I was only looking through one eye at a time. And check out my previous video to see how I found out because that's kind of interesting. And I stumbled upon a TED Talk of a woman who had stereoblindness and it really described my experiences. I'm going to try to find it and put it in my bio for those who are interested. And a lot of the similar experiences I was having was, a difficulty in playing any sports where there's some kind of moving projectile, or driving a car where you have to evaluate distances. I was always very bad at that. But how do you determine if you are seeing the world in two dimensions or three dimensions if you've only ever experienced two dimensions since forever? Well, that's where this comes in, and this is called a Brock string. And the way the Brock string works is very simple, and you're not going to be able to experience it on your end because I'm talking through a camera that only has one lens. You really need two lenses or two eyes to be able to experience this. So what you do is you would hold the Brock string to your nose, and let me just start with the green bead. And you would start by holding it to your nose. And if you see in three dimensions, normally you would see, like, let's say I'm looking at the green bead here, you would see two strings going towards one bead. So when I did this exercise the first time, all I could see at any point in time was one string going to the bead either from the left or the right. But when you see in three dimensions, you would see two strings going to one point. And that was a huge game changer for me. Until I was able to start seeing those two lines going to one bead, then I knew I was only seeing in two dimensions. And as you do like sessions to correct it, you just start moving the bead farther and farther, and then we do more exercises. You can see there's a lot of lines here. You start moving the beads farther, and you start playing it like games of going, jumping from one bead to the next to get faster and faster at it. And when you're doing therapy, there's all sorts of exercises that you do, with 3D glasses and like 3D prints. And this was like a really weird thing because when I went to see Avatar, the first one, long time ago, I didn't understand. Like, people were raving about how great the 3D was. I never saw it. Like, everything just seemed blurry and I didn't see what the big fuss was about. I recently went to see Avatar 2 and for the first time I got it. And this is really interesting. When your brain finally figures out how to combine two images to create a 3D image, a stereo image, it all happens very quickly and all at once. And I'll always remember the day that I left a clinic where I saw a 3D image for the first time, and I was walking the streets and everything seemed so much farther. There was just so much depth to everything. So for most people, the world is a small place. My world actually grew when I was 43 years old.